Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. Got another Noodle film review. Now I did do a video for this film review a few days ago with loads of clips and stuff from it, but ProTube decided to block it under the sort of copyright thing. So unfortunately I could not put the review up, and I want to put it up because it's a part of a series that I've been doing. And so I'm going to do another review, but without the clips, sadly. And it's for Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. Now, this is the new movie in the franchise. This is the Blu-ray edition, standard Blu-ray edition, Ultimate edition, from my box set, the Paranormal Activity box set. And this is the new movie. Not really a spoiler, but I will let you know now. It's not connected to the first 7. It's on its own, or 6 films. Sorry, it's not connected to them. It's on its own. So it's like I wouldn't say it's a reboot because it's a completely new story. It's just like a new. I'm hoping it's going to be a new direction and a new sort of like set of movies for the franchise. Who knows? But anyway, I'll give you a little synopsis on the film. I'll do my best to remember it. It's been about 4 or 5 days now since I watched it. And like I said, I did do the video and had it up, but they decided to take it down. Now, it starts off with a young girl and a guy in a cafe, and they're waiting to meet someone. Now, the young girl in the cafe explains to us that she's doing like a documentary film about herself. Not really self-indulgent, is it? But about herself, about her family. Now, she was apparently abandoned when she was young, and she's lives with an adopted family. She's fine, doing really well, but she's made connection with her original sort of family, and she's meeting a guy from the family. So they meet up at a cafe, and they make arrangements to go down to meet the rest of the family. And it's an Amish family, so they're in a sort of like Amish community. Now, I don't know if it's Amish or Amish. I'm sorry if I get the pronunciations wrong. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know much about this sort of community. Now, I quite like the Amish community. I like the idea of their way of living. Now, they seem to live in a small like community, like little villages of people, and they don't use modern technologies. So they don't really have telephones, televisions, or anything like that, or cars, or anything. They do have some electricity, but that's always going to be like of a minimum, and that would be obviously maybe for um, maybe the harsh time of the year, and if because a lot of them are sort of farmers, and obviously some farm equipment you might need some electricity for, but they do have minimum sort of like that, so they'd have generators in their villages. But apart from that, most of the time they don't use it. That like their night time they live by candlelight, and they would have like a like a fire place in their homes where they'd have the fire for the heating. And they would probably, I would probably, when one person has a bath, I expect the next one would jump in. It's that kind of lifestyle. So they're a little bit back to nature, if you like, or back to not being consumed by consumerism. And I quite like that. I think that's a really, really cool way to live. And I got a lot of respect for the Amish sort of community for that. And, you know, because it's always something I wish I could do. And I wish that a lot of us did do. And sometimes I do think the planet needs to take a few steps backwards, rather than going forwards all the time, and have a look and see if this is the best way forward, you know. But we always seem to just follow the the lemming in front. But anyway, so she's come from an Amish background, all right. So so they're trying to make a film documentary. So they go off in like on a road trip, her and her friend, and then there's another guy that joins them, like a sound guy, and they fly over to where this family live, and they turn up at night time to the house of the Amish family in this little village, Obviously, because they don't have telephones or anything, they didn't know that the guy that met up with her was bringing them back to do this documentary film. So at first they said no, we don't want them coming into the village. So okay, so they went to the nearby town to a hotel and booked into a hotel, and then they have discussion about we'll try again tomorrow. We'll go back and try and talk it through to see if they'll let us do it. And there's an incident where they hear a noise coming from the bathroom, and they go there, and it's like you get like a bit of a jump scare from a young boy, and it's a young boy from the Amish family that they've just been to's house that got rejected from, and they're miles away, but he's just turned up at the window. So they pop him in the car, and they all drive him back to the Amish little cottage. And the guy, the father of the family, is very grateful, and then he allows them to stay. All right, so then they stay at the Amish house, and it's like, again, like I said, it's very sort of minimalistic, and it's like candles. They got like a hot stove in the room for heating, and it's really nice, and I like that. Anyway, so they're allowed to stay, and then we get to the next day, and we meet more of the sort of the Amish family in the community. So they do little things around. Doing a little tour around the sort of farmyard and seeing the animals and the other people there, and she's trying to speak about, because it's her mother that was a part of this Amish family, the one that's actually sort of like abandoned her on a doorstep. She actually got a video of that, like on video. To me, that would be horrendous to have a video of my own self being abandoned on a doorstep. But yeah, she's got a video of it. Anyway, she tries to sort of talk to them, to all the people that lived there, about her mother, if they knew her and that. And a lot of them sort of like are really being really secretive about it and say, I can't talk about it. And then eventually all strange sort of little things happen. Again, mostly at night. That they've seen lights in the distance outside, and they don't know where it's coming from. There's one night where the generator breaks down, and the guy goes out, and it's been snowing there, as you can see, it's all snow. And he goes out to sort of like get the generator going, and there's a few jump scares. You see like people in the background thinking, walking about. You think it's quite spooky and eerie. It's got a real strong feeling of the film The Witch and Resident Evil Village sort of game. It's got a strong sort of quite similarities to that. Anyway, she keeps trying to find out more out about her mother, and they sort of uncover all sorts of little secrets. There's noises come from above their room where they're staying. That sort of spooks them out at night, and they go and investigate that at night one night. And then they talk to the father of the family, because they say after a while that they get quite welcomed to stay in and stuff like that. Then they speak to the father, and he sort of explains to the girl that the mother was actually shunned because of something that she did. I think because the father was someone from outside of the village or whatever like that, but she was shunned. And then so the story goes on from then, and then it's like she speaks to a little girl, and this little girl's got a doll which is called Anna, which was the name of her mother. And she was saying, "Oh, this Anna doesn't like you," and all this sort of stuff. So, and you get lots of sort of like shapes in the background behind people like walking, and it's very quite spooky and eerie. So I'm not going to tell you too much more about the story because I don't want to spoil it. Because, like I said, it is her investigating what's happened to her mother, and why she was abandoned or put up for adoption, and sort of uncovered some sort of secrets. So, does she find out who her mother is? What did she find out really why she was shunned? And where has her mother gone now? And are these really Amish people, or are they just devil worshippers that are sort of using the Amish sort of thing for a cover up? Don't know. And I'm not saying that it is, okay? That's just possibilities of the film. You need to watch it and find out what actually happens in the film. It's really gripping, and it really is an amazing film. So what did I think of it? Like I said, it's an amazing film. To me, it's the best one in the franchise. You know, I love number 1 and number 3. As you know, I've told you before, I absolutely love them. But this, it's nothing to do with them whatsoever. So out of those first films, 1 and 3 are my favourites. But now with this new one, I prefer this over all of the ones that have previously gone, because I love the story. It's more sort of around a sort of a witchcrafty, devil worshipping sort of story, more so than like the other one, which is more like Bump in the Night, wasn't it? This one is more like a discovery journey, discovering of the story, discovering of the history of her mother and this little community. And it's fantastic. It's amazing. So the pluses of the film, that it looks stunning. It absolutely looks beautiful. There is still a lot of it filmed on sort of camcorder. It's still got that found footage feel to it. It is still like the Blair Witch, you know, when they were filming a documentary about looking for the witch. This is a documentary her finding out about her mother. So it's like that really, and it works really, really well. Absolutely loved it. It's loads of jump scares. It is really scary and eerie. The family are sort of like really quite, yeah, they are a bit. I don't know if I want to stay in their house, but you know what I mean. But they're so good, and the father he plays an amazing role in this film. Really, really cool. It did to me a lot of times ring of The Witch. It did remind me a lot of that sort of film, just because of like, I suppose because of the Amish way of life. It's almost like back in that sort of period of time. They haven't progressed from that sort of New England stage to like modern life. So I suppose that's why you get that. Like they're still wearing the old-fashioned clothes and, you know, and sing songs rather than watch telly. And it's that kind of thing. And it's fantastic, really good. It is jumpy, it is scary. It is a completely different story, which I quite liked. I thought, yeah, because I'm kind of done with the other Paranormal Activities, and it's been so long since them. It would have been difficult to sort of like, oh yeah, yeah, and so it's quite cool. They've actually taken a new story, a new direction. I like that. Negatives to the film. I always think with a lot of films, especially found footage, that the less you see, the better it is. And in this, you see quite a bit, like especially near the ends. Like, you know, one of the beauties of the other Paranormal Activities was you didn't really see anything about the demon Toby or anything. Eventually, you did, which kind of made the series decline a bit. But this you do see it, but it's not. It's because it's a completely different story. It works, really, really works. So it's really, really cool. That's the only negative thing, is that it reveals more than I think it needs to. So it's the only negative. But it's an awesome, scary, devil worshipping horror movie, and I'm gonna score this an essential watch and give it a 10 out of 10. Another 10 out of 10. So there we go. That is my review of Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I'm so sorry I couldn't put any clips on. Like I said, YouTube decided to block my video. I did an amazing sort of half an hour review of it, and they decided to block it. But there you go. I've got nothing I can do about that apart from do the review a different way. So here we go, and that's it. So let's have a look at the box set, because I did tell you, didn't I, that once that's over I will review the whole box set and give you a final score on the box set itself. So let's have a look what we got here. Paranormal Activity 2, I gave that an 8 out of 10. I didn't review it, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. The marked ones I gave a 7 out of 10. Paranormal Activity 4, I gave that a 8 out of 10. Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension, a 7 out of 10. Paranormal Activity 3, 9 out of 10. Paranormal Activity, the first one, 9 out of 10. The documentary, which I did watch, Unknown Dimension, give that 5 out of 10. Bit disappointing, to be honest, because I was hoping it was going to be more about the sort of lore of the franchise and stuff, and more stories from a lot of the people in the making of it, but it's not. It's mostly about the company that made it, talking about the money they make out of it. So it's a bit disappointing, but it's all right. And again, Next of Kin, 10 out of 10. So, because of the averages of 9 and 8s, I'm going to score the whole box set a 9 out of 10. It's a fantastic box set. Highly, highly recommend it, guys. If you've not got any of the Paranormal Activities, it's about 50 something pound to pick it up as a whole box set. But if you're getting like 7 or 8 movies out of it, so I'm just sorting these out to put these away. If you're getting that amount of movies out of it, then it's not really a bad buy, is it, really? So, you know, it's a cool box set. It's really good. No extras in it, sadly, like art cards or a booklet or anything, which I think is really, really poor. And so that's why it's lost that point, really, because of that. I mean, I could have been fair and said, right, I'll give that an 8 out of 10 because of that. But no, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because it's got some amazing movies in it. That is my review of Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, 10 out of 10. Guys, go and check out some horror channels for me, please. When you get a chance, go and check out Horror Hands, Man v Film, The Horror Geek, Pizzlewell, I Am the Ice Lord, RS Designs, Horror in Todge, Sarah Horror. All amazing channels. Please, guys, go and check them all out for me. Until next time, don't let noises keep you awake at night. Look after yourself, look after one another, and I really hope that I'll see you all soon.